Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, wherever you are calling from. And welcome to the free community practice call, Creating the Body Electric. My name is Jennifer Vega, and I'll be your moderator and support today. And I'm also joined by Britt Dominics, who's going to raise her hand in her little square corner. If you need any assistance today, you can type in the chat, I need support, and one of us will private message you. A few things before John comes on the call. Well, he's here before I bring him on the screen and we start the call officially. These calls are recorded, so by coming on this call, you are agreeing to be recorded. We do post these publicly because they are free community calls. So within the next 72 business hours, they will be posted onto our YouTube page. So just know that by having your face and your name here, you are agreeing to being recorded. John will also take questions one-on-one, and if you do want to work with John one-on-one, you will need to be on camera and you will be spotlit with him so that everybody will just see the two of you, but this also gives him a really good opportunity to see and feel you and work with you one-on-one. For the, for the chat, we ask that you use the chat for celebration, praise, no solicitation or unsolicited advice or promoting businesses or anything like that. But if somebody is sharing something while working with John and you want to celebrate them, absolutely use the chat for that. And then, of course, if you have any questions for Britt or myself, that is the place, the chat is the place for that as well. We'll also be posting some links John might mention throughout the call, but he will not be taking questions from the chat. So if you do have a question for John, the best thing to do is to raise your virtual hand once he prompts that it's Q&A time. And the way to do that is on the bottom of the Zoom screen, you will see a reactions button that has a heart, and then you click on that. And then underneath there, you'll see the virtual hand raise, and then you raise that and we'll get to as many people as we possibly can. We have 90 minutes with y'all today, and I have said enough, and I'm going to bring John up.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. All right, so today I want to talk about, what creates vitality in us. What creates aliveness in us. And before we do that, I just want to give, let's give a minute or two for other people to show up, but I would like to do just a tiny little practice. I like to start these things with a little practice, get a little breath and movement into our body. So if you're sitting on a chair, come to the edge of the chair. You really want to make sure that you're, you can feel the base of your body, your perineum, sex organs, rectum, like all that kind of pressed into the seat. Make sure it's pressed into the seat. And just start, once you do that, just start inhaling and kind of grinding down into the seat. Just inhale and grind down, not your shoulders, but you're actually grinding the base of your body down into the seat. So the movement's coming from below the navel. You might start to feel some tingling, you might start to feel some warmth, but the root chakra is kind of the linchpin to vitality. So just giving a little love to the root chakra, inhaling just circles, nice circles. They call this the Sufi grind. And then switch directions. Make sure you're pressing down as you do this. Make sure you're really sort of locking into the earth's energy. You might imagine pressing this part of your body down into the earth, like you're literally grinding into the soil, grinding into the grass, just kind of saying hello, kind of flirting with Mother Gaia. So a few more breaths here. Good, and then take an inhale and come center. Just notice if you feel a little more blood, there should be more blood down there, should be a little more awake. Then we're going to do another little breath, and it's called a reed breath. Some of you who've been with me in workshops and programs know this one. It's like you're sipping in through a straw, and that straw goes all the way down to your perineum. all the way down to the base of your body. And as you inhale and exhale, you're going to just kind of rock back and forth on that same part of your body. So it looks like this. So continue that. Close your eyes and take all of your awareness down to your root, down to that space, your perineum, sex organs, rectum, and just take all your awareness down there. Really feel the root. You might imagine, roots growing out this part of your body and down into the earth. You might imagine feeling down into the rock or soil beneath you, down into the underworld, so to speak. We're only going to be here a couple minutes, so really focus, really focus. Don't let your mind drift. Train your mind. Train your mind to focus all of your awareness on the root chakra. Feel the warmth of it. Start to feel that root chakra extend down into the earth, down, 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 all the way to the earth's core, the fiery earth's core, and feel that part of your body, the root chakra, connect to the fire of the earth. Keep breathing. Pressing down through the ribs, pressing down through the lower heart, pressing down through the belly. Just keep on just waking that area up. Should start to feel kind of good. Bringing some blood flow and some chi. Really feel the root chakra connect to the earth fire. Feel it. So it's almost like there's a fire lapping up right through your groin, right into your genitals, right into your lower abdomen. Feel the heat of the earth fire, just less than a minute here. So really focus on letting the earth fire come up through the center column of your body, warm the base of your body, warm your cervix and womb if you're female, warm your dantian, your navel, your lower abdomen if you're a male. 30 more seconds. So really grind, maybe speed it up a little bit, really press down to that part of your body. Really let it warm up. Feel the fire coming through the groin into the lower abdomen, into the womb, into the genitals. And then in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take a big inhale in. And then press everything down, pack that chi, pack that life force into your genital, into your genitals, into your navel, into your lower body. Just really let the energy you've cultivated direct it now back into your sex organs, back into your root. And then go ahead and exhale nice and slowly. And then just take a few breaths here with your eyes closed, noticing if you feel a little more life, a little more tingle, a little more vitality in your stuff. And then you can go ahead and open your eyes and we'll get on with the call. All right, y'all. Let's go. Okay. So yeah, really, as I was thinking on a topic for today, I think the thing that we all sort of kind of always need more of is vitality, right? We always need more life force, right? Facing the more life force we have, the better our perception, right? The more life force we have, the more capacity we have to hold people and hold our lives and hold ourselves and hold the people we care about, right? So vitality is really the foundational piece of aliveness, really, right? So I wanted to come at this a little bit differently. Let's just hear from a few of you in the chat, like, what do you do to create vitality, to wake your body up? What do you do? Do you do yoga? Do you work out? Do you walk? Like, what are some tried and true methods that you guys have for creating vitality? Sexual practice, tantric practice, breath work. Like, what's the, let's go ahead and drop something in the chat. And then I'm curious, how would you rate yourself in terms of your vitality? Like 10 is like your body's alive, electric most of the day. It's give yourself an honest rating. How would you rate yourself? 10 is you're kind of vibrating with life, joy, feeling. 0 is you're a rock. All right. See a lot of 6s. Okay, we got an 8 there. Okay. All right. And then another question is, how do you know? How do you know when you're feeling vital? How do you know it? What happens? What happens to you? Most of us just kind of cruise through the day a little bit just on autopilot, right? Autopilot is the antithesis to vital. Yeah, good. Good. You feel awake. Great. Which brings an interesting question. Is it possible to be relaxed and vital? Right? We think about vitality as sort of like, whoa, but it's very possible to be super relaxed. If you think about, I have a friend who runs a wolf ranch, and I always like to watch the wolves before they spring, right? And what's really interesting when you study this is that the wolves are super relaxed but alert, relaxed but alert, right? Ready to, their whole body is relaxed while they're waiting to pounce, sink their little teeth into you. So I think nature gives us some really good clues as to what creates the deepest vitality. And so I'm just curious now, like take a moment and allow your body to find that beautiful crossroads of relaxed but alert. Like totally relaxed, but you could literally spring out of your chair to do a cheer for us, or to protect somebody. Like really find that, okay, I'm here, I'm totally present, totally relaxed, but I could spring into action like that. Just notice how that feels. To be really present, body's relaxed, front of your body particularly relaxed, but you could just jump up and tackle somebody if they came in the room, or they came for people who you love. And just stay there a few more seconds and really let it, see if you can increase both relaxation and readiness. So notice if you can increase both. And then just be aware. Does that feel a little more vital than it did a minute ago? A little more, sort of a little more juice flowing through your veins? A little more tingle in your fingers? Yeah. Okay. All right. So just hold that the rest of the call. just stay right there. Don't change a thing. All right. So there's another way. There's 2 other ways that I work with a lot to create aliveness, to turn on the body electric. Both of them involve truth. Both of them involve truth. So the truth of how we're feeling, really, the truth of feeling, right? When we acknowledge the truth of feeling, we give it sound, we give it movement, we allow it to flow, to express, right? Whether it's grief or joy or desire or anger or whatever, there's a river of energy that comes with that. Yes. So the truth of feeling what we're feeling, activates this sort of ever present, right? Because you guys know you're not living life. Life is living you. You're alive because something is living through you, right? You aren't willing your heart to beat, are you? You aren't managing the billions of Krebs cycles going on in your system right now. You're not digesting your food, are you? Something is living us. Something is living through us. And just allowing ourselves to feel that something living through us creates vitality. Right? Beneath every emotion, beneath every sensation is a river of energy. A river of energy. The more we become aware of that truth, the more alive we become. So feeling is one way, where that could be feeling, even just feeling the desk or feeling your fingers on your legs. If you turn that up and you really feel what's true, whether it's I'm afraid or whether it's I'm angry or whether it's whatever the truth is, I'm numb, even numb, right? So feeling the truth. The other way to work with truth is the more masculine version, which is awareness of what's true. To be aware of what's most true. What's most true in your behavior, what's most true in your patterning, what's most true in your belief system, what's most true on a spiritual and energetic level. Truth. So if we think of truth, the masculine version of truth or practice of truth is to become aware, to be aware, right? The feminine version of truth is to feel. And so truth is the portal to deeper vitality. Is it making sense to you guys? I'm hoping I'm not getting too woo-woo for you early in the morning here, right? And oftentimes I see people do a lot of work on themselves to get vital. They'll do movement, they'll do yoga, they'll practice, they're big practitioners, but they're ignoring the truth. And so they still feel drained. Not any of you guys. You guys have definitely surpassed that. But that's what people do. They'll work on the superficial and ignore the deep. So as we go into, if I go into hearing from you guys today, I'm going to keep, kind of poking at those things, at what's true about who you are, what's true. And, with your permission, I may challenge you to look into deeper truth and see how it lands. And I also may challenge you to consider feeling deeper truth, see how that lands. All right. So this is making sense so far, guys? Making sense? All right. I don't want this to just be me talking at you. So please, we can go anywhere you want to go. I kind of set the stage for what's on my mind this morning, but I'd love to hear from you.
Okay, so you can raise your virtual hand. I see some people popping up, and we will get to as many people as possible. We are going to start with Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. Where are you calling in from?
In Lisbon.
Oh, cool. I was in Lisbon a little while ago. It was cool.
Yeah, I missed you. I was in Amsterdam when you guys were here. I want to give just a little bit of context. I don't want to ramble, but I feel like a little bit of context would be helpful. So I've lived in Lisbon for 6 years. I moved here from the Bay Area. And I've never really been one of those, like, there's no good man, we're all the conscious man. Like in the Bay Area, there was a good pool of conscious men. And I wasn't single in my time there. Lisbon has been an entirely different experience that I didn't expect, and I wasn't, yeah. And there's kind of like two parts to the question. I mean, obviously, I really miss like embodied, present masculine. I know what that feels like. It feels in very short supply here. And even just like little exchanges, a little kind of play of energy, flirtation, or just play, like it just doesn't feel like there's people here that I feel excited to do that with. So it feels to me like that part of my energy when I'm here goes dormant. And I
So
also,
can I just ask you, like, what is the flirting exchange for?
mm, um, it could be twofold. One, it's just like it can be playful. Somebody that I don't necessarily want to exchange numbers with or go on a date with, but it's just playful and it's fun. Like energy that wants to come out and play with me feels good. Children do it really naturally. So here I flirt with the babies.
Okay. Okay. I mean, my point was, is if it's a gift,
Yeah.
then it doesn't really matter how the men receive it. If it
Yes.
if it's got attachment, then that's different. I mean, it's not nothing wrong with being attached to an outcome. Just
Yeah.
curious, like where it's coming from, right? Sometimes, of course, we can have both desires to gift people our flirty, fun energy just because it's a gift to the world, or we have some agenda.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm here on the rare times when I kind of bring that side out more, it often gets interpreted in a way that is really not my objective. So yeah, like they make it mean something that it does not mean.
Got it.
Um, but also in answer to your question, part of it is it's like playing with that energy, playing with good masculine presence. It feels like a nutrient to me.
It
And
is.
feeling very starved of that nutrient in Lisbon. And like, it kind of seems obvious, okay, we'll move somewhere else, but there's a lot of other things that I like about living here. And I
Mhm.
go other places and I spend a lot of time in Amsterdam. It's completely different experience in Amsterdam.
Mhm.
I don't really want to live in Amsterdam year round.
Okay.
So I
No,
think I think you kind of get the question is,
no,
yeah.
I'm not quite sure how I can help you with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there a way to experience the nutrient of that particular alchemy, like that, that particular medicine
Mhm.
without somebody, a human form that I feel fed by in that way?
Mhm.
And the other thing is,
Well, let me try that one first. Let me try that one first, right?
okay,
Because, I mean, we could all. So the first thing I would have you do is, what are the traits you want to experience from the masculine around you? Presence, you mentioned, um, depth, right? Okay. What else?
support, yeah, presence, depth, just like an embodied presence.
Embodied presence. Okay. Okay. So I would actually ask you to go see with every man you encounter today where they are that, right? Where they are that. I mean, they might not be that in the way that Northern California, Bay Area men experience that, but they probably have their own kind of way of being present, of being alive, of being, you know. So where can you feel the depth of every man that you encounter? Just take something.
Started doing that. I listened to your podcast about that and I started doing that more. It still feels like it's very short supply here. And
Well, but
then,
that's so your perception is that, so we are the perceivers. There's no other way to, I mean, for me, we are the perceivers. So
yeah,
the moment we're in a space of, you're not giving me what I want, whether it's a town or person or a group or anything, or me right now, whenever we're in that place of you're not giving me what I want, we're in what my teacher David would call a first stage moment, where we think that our that we're filled up by other, right?
Mhm.
Now, of course, other can be very nourishing. I don't deny that. But where you come at this is going to determine. I mean, I would have a hard time believing that in all of the men of Lisbon that you can't feel any depth. That I find that hard to believe. Now, they might be different, or they might be, the texture might just not be your brand of, but that's part of the work. Because look, if we're in a relationship with somebody, we're living with them, we're going to have to hunt to feel their depth some days. We're actually going to have to see in them what they might not see in themselves, and let them see their deeper selves through our eyes.
Mhm.
So that would be my challenge. Like, okay, there's no deep men. Let's just take that as a truth that you believe, right? How do I deepen them? How do I deepen them? Like, how do I take this little kernel of depth and add some fire to it? Obviously, without, making yourself unsafe, but it can be very subtle. It doesn't have to be super flirty. How do I how do I how do I inspire more depth in these men? Because you might be right. You might be the deeper practitioner. You probably are. This is a cry that women have been, pounding the desk on for years. Like, most women are deeper practitioners than their male partners. Not always, but some, quite a few. So you're the deeper practitioner. So how do you reflect back the deepest part of them? And I don't have an answer for that, except to recognize that there's a surface level that you're identifying with,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, I'm saying, I think part of the self-serving part is it just like often it just feels like energy that I just don't really want to exchange with.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, don't, but don't, you don't have to. So you have all these beliefs, right? We could Byron Katie this, right? We have all these beliefs like, if I do that, then I'm going to get energy I don't want back. Okay, is that true? Do you know that to be true? Who do you become when that's true, right? Who would you rather be? And so it's always, I mean, I'm not trying to deny your experience,
yeah,
but we are the perceivers.
okay.
We are the perceivers. And if we are perceiving a lack of depth in our environment, we're not looking deep enough.
Mhm.
Because by their very nature, these men are consciousness.
Mhm. Mhm.
They're consciousness. And it could just be gratitude or appreciation you give, rather than Shakti.
Yeah.
That is a form of Shakti, but rather than, flirtiness or something that you don't feel comfortable with. It could just be like a real deep seeing of them for their generosity or their sweetness or their playfulness or their, right? And making it your. And then, do you date? Do you go out on dates at all?
I do, but they're mostly people who are passing through and don't live
Great.
here.
Okay, great. But when you go out on dates, same idea. Like, how do you bring your best practice to the world? I mean, that's really all we can do, is bring our best practice to the world, and then see how what kind of magic that creates. Right, because you might be right. There might be a dearth of conscious practice. Let's call them practiced men, right? In Lisbon, but you don't know what magic your practice would magnetize.
Yeah.
You don't know that. And so, and none of us do. And that's the thing about our pattern behaviors. We justify closing. We all do
Yeah.
it. I do it too. You know, we all do it. We justify our closures because they're not this. My partner's not this. The men aren't this. The women aren't this. We justify not living open as love. And
Mm.
so that would be the challenge I would give you. Like, yeah, fuck yeah. And you might have all this stuff come up. It might be lonely. You know, there might be loneliness. There might be, you know, and so the other piece of this is to really be in the truth of that, of everything you're experiencing in being malnourished, you know.
So
um
that's kind of part two of my question is when I feel there's a vitamin, you know, that I'm missing, it can almost create the sense of, I don't know, it's like a combination of desperation and urgency, just like when you're too hungry. It's like,
yeah,
give me the fucking food now. You
yeah, yeah, yeah.
feel like that.
So let's
And
stay with that, but stay with that, but that, because that's where I felt you most alive. Where's the fucking food? Where's the beef? Where's it?
yeah.
Yeah, where's the beef, right? And that, like, so loving yourself, bringing that truth, bringing that to you, right? And giving yourself space to be angry, to be frustrated, to be lonely, you know, like we all go through, right? It's that is a form of self-love, self-nutrition. Like, you could, the second piece to this, which I didn't get into, and we do some work with this in workshops and in teacher training, is what is your internal masculine look and feel like? Like, who is he? You know, we all have an animus and an anima, and we all, right? I tend to like think of these things as God of the my internal feminine is the deepest feminine expression of me, right? And she's always incredibly loving. She's always available. She's always, you know, she always sees me. She always acknowledges like what I do and how much I hold and what I go through. And she's sexy as fuck. She's always there. And so I really, you know, meditate in those moments where I feel lonely or frustrated or any of those things that we all feel as human beings. I've created a relationship with her. So that was supposed to be the second piece for you, which is feel the feelings that I can sense you're feeling, like the true truth there. And then imagine he, whatever he looks like to you, your unconditionally loving, present, embodied, sexy, masculine. What does he do when you're in pain? Does he put his hand on your heart? Does he press his belly into yours and breathe? And we actually, you know, bring these things to our meditative moments, or to the moments where we're in a practice of grieving or feeling deeply. And it is very nourishing. It just takes a while to create that relationship and really solidify it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It is kind of bittersweet because I've been doing that, and it does it like it brings the longing even more to the surface, but then there's a little bit of uh like a homeopathic remedy at the same time.
Well, I believe the feelings fully felt turn to joy.
Mm.
And so in the or joy, peace, you know,
Mhm.
they contentment. And my sense is that the deepest truth is that you're yearning, right? You're yearning to be met. And that deep truth is where you're, like I've been saying, you know, since the beginning of the call, that deep truth is where your vitality lives, right? And so creating a container, the masculine, for your, whether it's 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before you go on your next date, whenever it is, where you really let yourself yearn,
Mm.
and all the stuff that comes with that, because that's where the truth is. I'm sensing that correctly. Yeah. I don't want to project onto you, but I think I'm sensing you correctly. And I have it too. We're all, fuck, this whole call is filled with yearning hearts. You don't come to a call like this if you're not, so you're not alone, love.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Best of luck to you. Yeah. Come see us next time.
I will.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Dan. Oh, sorry. There you go.
Hello,
Hey,
Dan.
John.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. You calling from down under?
UK.
Or UK? Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, England.
Right on.
God, I had a lot of energy come up in my chest because I knew I was next. I feel quite exposed right now, but it's all good.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Um,
Thanks for trusting us with this.
mm, I'm very fascinated by the dark masculine, and I
Ah.
feel that there's probably some links between the stage one man and the dark masculine.
Mm.
A lot of my life I've been in stage two, being the nice guy, and
Mm.
I feel like I've got a lot of work to integrate the dark masculine within me. He
Mm.
comes out at times, but um, not as much as I'd like, I guess.
Well,
And
give us a little glimpse of your dark masculine. Is it dominating? Is it violent? Is it fierce? Is it um, sadistic in a little way? Like what's your dark masculine like?
he feel it, the energy is like right down in the hips. There's this like energy that's expressed from the hips and outwards. He is dominating, but not. It doesn't feel violent in any way.
Okay.
He can really like enjoy women and femininity without shame or guilt.
Mm.
And when I can access it, life's really good. But I don't know how to. I guess I'd love to know some practices, some things that you would recommend to help me integrate it further, uh,
Mm.
or
Mm.
whatever you suggest, whatever you feel to kind of talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Well, I think I think you hit the nail on the head there. So there's using David Data's lexicon of first, second, and third stage. I like to use sort of wounded, healthy, and sacred, right? So
Okay.
the wounded masculine uses power to dominate and get, right? Manipulate. And we all do it. There's definitely a wounded feminine out there that does the same thing, dark feminine, right? So the dark feminine that is I was dangerous might be too strong a word, but causes pain, right? That's us using our dominance. That's us using our strength. That's us using our fierceness to get what we want, whatever our agenda is. Even a parent saying, "Shut up and get in the car," right? I'm using my strength to dominate, right? And so in the second stage, we really kind of allow that to relax a bit. You don't have to. You can bring it once you've got it titrated enough. In the third stage, the dark masculine is about liberating love, right? So's the dark feminine, right? Like she'll bring her Black Widow, right? In order to see, look, you're smiling just thinking about it. To liberate something and to liberate life force, to liberate love, to liberate eros, to liberate all these things and make us happy to be alive. So the integration happens in the connection to the heart, right? So I don't know. Do you do martial arts or anything like that, or?
I used to. I'm a bit injured right now, but yeah, I've done.
Okay, it's
Flying.
it's a concept. It's just a concept that martial artists use a lot, which is power with heart.
Yeah.
In Wang Chung, right? It would always be, my teacher would always have me try to put my heart through my palm when I hit somebody, which it was
Right.
such an interesting concept, right? But that's where the power is, right? So integrating the dark masculine with a partner, with a sexual partner, is finding that. And this takes a little work, right? And this is, you can come to a workshop, we'll work on this. Like, this is the kind of stuff that we uh, play and practice in. And finding that blend of, I love you and I'm going to eat your fucking heart out, right? Finding that perfect blend of dark energy, which is you're right, it's in the navel, it's in the root, which we just touched, right? With the heart, connecting those two is the integration. If it's just us wanting or just imposing our will, it doesn't get into the center column. You feel the difference of that? It doesn't, it's here in the extremities. It's urgent, it's violent, it's not. The dark masculine comes from here. The sacred dark masculine comes from here, whatever it is. Is this landing with you? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah.
Like the dark masculine that I connect with feels very healthy, like that. That is stage 3, and I guess I was labeling it as stage 1, but that's interesting. That is stage 3 because
If
there
it's in
is love
service
there.
of love, bro, if
Yeah.
it's in service of love, right? Now, sometimes we have to check what we think is in service to love is actually an agenda that it's very shadowy. That's where the whole awareness of our truth, right? I was just in a men's group last week and we sat around and we're really like trying to get to the deepest truth of our behavior, of our darker behavior. And we were saying shit like, ooh, I use sex to have power over my woman. I'll manipulate my woman with money. I will manipulate her with practice, right? And to really get into the truth of how I'm manipulating you to feel safe or to feel loved, right? That is also a very deep. So if you're going to play with your darker masculine energies, I would recommend, and this is true for all men and women on this call, do an exercise like that. Like really sit with, like really feel, where do you jockey for power? Where do you manipulate to get what you want so you feel safe or you feel loved or you feel full of masculine energy, feminine energy? And that is a crucial part of healthfully working in the darker zones for men and women, right? For anybody. Does that ring true to you, man?
Yeah, so essentially you're saying that that's how we integrate. So if it's in a
I would say
environment where
purify.
it's
I would use the word
purify.
purify. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if I went out into the world as that character, then I'd probably cause harm. But if I'm doing it in an environment where I can bring him out, but I'm not causing harm to others, but I can express that through my actions and my emotions,
Yeah.
that means that when I'm out and about in the world, I can like have him there with me, but not, they're in more, yeah, purified.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the awareness purifies, right? Awareness purifies.
Okay.
Understanding the deep truth of our motives and how many of us are blind to how much we're manipulating each other to feel safe and to feel loved is a crucial part of playing with darker energies. Once I'm aware of like, fuck, okay, I know I do this. I know I use, I know I have used my capacity as dark lover to gain power. You know what I mean? It's not nefarious per se, but it is a form of manipulation. But I love them, right? And they love it. And you know what I mean? It's like a whole thing. But if I'm really, really excruciatingly honest, right? There's a power play in my desire for darkness, right?
Mm.
So I have power, right? Which is fine if that power is in service to liberating love. Now, how do you know whether that's the right time to bring that energy? You have to be tuned into the moment in a very deep way, and you have to be sensitive to the moment in a very deep way. Because if you're going to bring dark energy, but the moment's not calling for it, right, then it could be damaging, even if your intentions are good and your heart is open. Most of the time, if your heart is open, you'll feel, oh, a little too much, right? Okay, not now. You'll feel it if your heart's open. So there's a lot of moving parts to that, right? Like, but the primary thing is really understanding what the moment calls for. For example, if I'm leading a men's circle and you know, my heart is open, and I'm feeling love, and I'm feeling some bullshit coming from this guy over here, and I just know it. I just know it. And I know that in that moment that me bringing dark, fierce warrior love is going to liberate something in him. Then I bring it because I felt the moment. If I come to the men's circle, who am I gonna, you know, who am I gonna, right? Then I'm missing the moment. So a lot of this is about cultivating. I'm giving you a big, wide answer, so take what you like and leave the rest. But a lot of this is about cultivating just the most pristine practice of awareness, of openness, of self-awareness, of understanding, of heart understanding and connection, and then following the impulse of the moment. So we practice so that we can learn, all right, what does dark lover look like? And I practice with a woman and she tells me more love, more dark, more heart, more dark, more heart. And then I feel, okay, what's that perfect blend of I love you and I'll rip your throat out if you want me to, kind of thing, right? Like, what's the perfect blend? So we practice to get that capacity in our body, and then we bring awareness and sensitivity to know where it's needed.
Got it. And that's the integration, right?
Well, the integration happens again with awareness and feeling, like bringing energy, the feminine, without awareness, the masculine, is not integrated. So it's a combination of awareness and sensitivity and capacity to express and move energy. So it's a full meal, man. It's all of the above.
Thanks, man. That was brilliant. Love to hear it.
Right on, man. Yeah, and come to a men's weekend, man. You know, come
I would love that.
Yeah.
I know you've got one in Austin early next year.
I do.
Got my
come.
radar on it.
We had a fucking blast last time. So yes, please
man.
come. Yeah,
that's great, man.
Right on, brother.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Dan. Aaron.
Let me check on that. Is that does that make sense? This, like, how to work with dark energy, guys? Is that landing for you guys? Like what we need in order to bring dark energy? Because that's such an important topic. I want to make sure there's no hanging chads from that discussion, but we'll keep going. We'll keep going. All right.
Aaron.
Hello, Aaron.
Oh.
Uh-oh, you're a little, your camera's a little glitchy.
Oh, is it okay?
Okay, I think it's settling in.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, let's seize the day.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to name at the beginning, I normally wouldn't raise my hand unless I felt like really put together. Like I had a good morning, I did all my practices and all that. And my question is about this. It's around vulnerability and truth. And so I just want to name that like, it wasn't a great day. I don't feel so great, but I was like, raise your fucking hand. Anyway,
sure.
So
I love the hot mess Aaron version we're getting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's work with her.
All right. Okay, so a little bit of context. I ended a partnership a year ago with my partner of 7 years. And in that year,
actually like 18 months, I've been just looking at, yeah, what happened there? How can I grow from that? How can I learn from that? And I've known this about myself, but this ending really, really like made it more clear the way that I have had a pattern of choosing men who I knew wouldn't leave me and who I could be in like the control. Speaking of control, like in the last
Yeah.
piece,
Yeah.
I
So
could
you're a
have the
manipulator.
control.
You're a manipulator.
Yes. Mm, yes,
It is
that's
me too.
true.
Yeah. I mean, it actually, it's not to shame, right? Like owning these truths about ourselves is actually about excavating vitality and freedom. So it's not to self-shame or, you know,
Yeah.
self-flagellate, that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
you're a manipulator.
Yes. So I'm
Got it. All
just
right.
call it what it is.
It takes
Okay.
one to know one.
Yeah. So, okay. So with that awareness, I've been like curious. Okay, how can I know this part of myself and also what do I want? You know, what do I really want? Because the thing that makes me feel alive and juicy and like my heart is like bursting, the thing that does that is vulnerability. And I know that because I have that. Like in my closest friendships, like I have a few people that are like my people, and I just like it could bring me to tears just to think about the love I get to share with these people. I can't even believe I get to love these people and they love me, and there's no control. Like it's weird, John. With those people, there's no control because the romantic piece isn't there, right? It's like I can
Yeah.
just love them, they love me. I can't control them. It's just so beautiful. And so with men, I want to be able to feel that feeling of like, I can't control you. I can't control this love. I can't make you love me. I can't get you not to leave, but I can just be here, like in my heart and my truth. And if it's aligned to be together and to grow together spiritually, sexually, like that's what I want.
Yeah.
But there's this like vulnerability of like, I can't control this. And so my
Yeah.
question is, I've been like playing with this, playing with this, like, okay, how do I, like, what would vulnerability do? That's the question I'm asking in my day-to-day life, like in line at the grocery store, like
Oh,
in, oh
can
yeah,
I pull down a little? Can I, press double
totally.
click? What is vulnerable? What is vulnerable? What's the most vulnerable feeling for you right now?
What's the vulnerable feeling?
Yeah, like in your life, is it yearning like we were talking about? Is it longing? Is it grief? Is it
Yeah, I think the most vulnerable feeling is the longing to be loved.
great, great, great. So, um, the longing to live and the longing to be loved, right? Um, is the deepest truth, right? So whatever that is for you in your life, in your practice, we have a lot of practices on the embodied relationship platform, right? There's a lot of practices about grieving, about longing, about yearning, about moving, about, so feel free to jump on that and use those, but find practices that really allow, and Jen and Britt, if you know of any, you can put a link in the chat. But meeting yourself, it sounds so cliche, but that's how you're meeting yourself, right? Most of us will abandon ourselves, right? And then blame somebody else for not meeting us. So probably the men who weren't meeting you haven't been meeting you in a way that you want. It's kind of a reflection of the way you're meeting yourself. Oftentimes, that's the way it works, right? So you meeting yourself would look like giving lots of space and care to the yearning heart. And which it seems now, the way I like to do that when I'm alone or when I'm having experiences, because men yearn too, We all have feminines too. Men yearn too, right? We yearn to be met. So when I'm in a place of yearning, I will often feel, like I said, a divine feminine presence, sometimes a divine masculine presence. I'll feel myself being held by the divine. Could be the weight of consciousness around me. I could feel it like a grandfather hand on my back. I could feel it like a divine feminine presence pressing into me, right? But I'm feeling and meeting myself at the same time. That's very healing. It's also magnetic, because what happens is as you step into the world, you're basically telling the world, I am a deep feeler and I can hold my own depth. I can hold all of my own grief, which is a very potent mix. Now, if you know how to run pleasure through your body, fuck, you know, I've got a bunch of men here that are happy to, meet that. It's just, if those things can, a woman who can hold her, who actually has a cultivated masculine and it can really hold her own, a woman who can feel and express deep truths of her heart, and a woman who can run pleasure through her body, fuck, that is like kryptonite to even the staunchest of bachelor men, right? So I'm not sure if that's how that's landing or if that's helpful, but
Yeah. No, it's helpful. I yeah, I have a lot of,
yeah.
So my masculine self. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so you're in fear, right? You're in fear, like a fear of, will I ever get met? So there's the yearning, which is the natural piece. And will I find a man who can meet me or who I can't control? And if I can't control him, then I'm going to be afraid, right? So,
yes.
I'm not saying you're afraid in this moment, but there's fear running.
Yeah. Yes.
You wouldn't have that program if there wasn't fear.
Yes.
So fear is the other truth to acknowledge.
Yes.
I'm afraid, and I manipulate because I'm afraid. And just notice how that lands in your system. And again, I'm not saying this is you all the time or this is the only part of you, but it's really important that
it's real.
Yeah. It's really important that we excavate the shadow ways of being as part of our devotion to love. Like everything I'm talking about here, everything I've been talking about for the hour, it's all about devotion to love. Self-exploration is devotion to love. Learning to be in your heart and your darkness is devotion to love. Like all of this is about our devotion to love. You learning to be vulnerable and afraid in a man who won't let you boss him around or control him, is devotion to love.
Totally.
Yeah. So I always like to reframe it that way because it gives us a bigger context. We're not just doing it for ourselves. You're doing it because you love. So I want to honor, first of all, you taking 18 months to go into deep exploration. That's rare and it's very beautiful and it's very honorable. I wish more people would do that, So that's lovely. Is there anything else that feels important that you'd like me to touch on? Did I give you enough?
Well, I guess one last piece around this fear, what I'm feeling and hearing is like, how can I meet this fear? Feel this fear in my pleasure practices, in my life, standing in line at the farmer's market, like, just to feel it, to be with it. And
But you can befriend it. You can befriend it. Hello, my friend fear. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. So there's an acknowledging of the truth of how you feel that, like I've been saying, creates, peace, freedom, and vitality. And then there's a practice. I'll give this. I don't know if we have this on the ERE, Jen, but there's a fear practice that I will often teach to the men mainly. And it's literally to sort of stand on your knees. That's how I like to do it. Stand on your knees and like kind of like Christ in the desert, just if you can get that imagery, right? I'm not pitching religion here, but just that image of being out alone in the desert, not knowing, looking for an answer and being afraid, and just allowing yourself to narrate what you're afraid of, like you're talking to God, just like, Christ was talking to God. Like, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. And you just let it, you just open your heart, open your arms, and just speak your fears, speak your fears. And then the second part of it is pray. So in a song that's about 7 or 8 minutes, I like to use Ardas Bai by Simrit Kaur. But a song is about 7 minutes. You speak your fears, you pray to God, goddess, whatever you consider divine, and then you thank the divine for all of the incredible gifts that you have in your life. And that is my embodied fear practice.
Great, thank you. And can you say the name of that song? I want to.
Yeah, it's called Ardas by Simrit Kaur. I'm not sure if Jen, if you can put it in Spotify, the Spotify link. Simrit Kaur, yeah, it's a beautiful song, and you'll cry your eyes out, and you'll open your heart. It's a whole thing, and I've done it dozens of times in my life.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel complete. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Good luck to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that fear practice, John.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Okay, well, I laid it out, right? It'll be up on YouTube. Maybe we can even clip that and give it to the Instagram hordes. Okay,
I know you, and I'm sorry if I botched your name again, but please say your name when I call you up. Say it for me, please.
You can call me Toby.
Toby. Thank you.
It's a Norwegian name, so it's difficult for you to pronounce.
Yeah.
Thank you, Toby.
No problem. Okay, John. So,
I
listened to one of your podcasts where you talked about how you needed to develop your killer instinct, your sharpness, and that is something I feel I miss.
It depends. Just like I said, it depends on the moment. I'm not running around doing that all day long, but in the moment, depends on the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you need it, you have it.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious because I want to cultivate that more in my life when I need it and when it's calling for me. So I'm just curious where to start. Where can I cultivate this skill?
Yeah. Well, it is so think of this, think of all of these textures of embodiment, right? As paints, right? And so we're trying to make our life, our relationships, works of art. So my capacity to be super vulnerable and messy is a skill that I cultivate as an artist. It's kind of like a paint. Me cultivating, fierce love, right, is a skill. And the way that I cultivate it is I practice fully embodying that. Take it one step further, you practice fully embodying it in front of another, being witnessed by another, which is why workshops are so fucking powerful, or programs. Because when we are installing some new capacity, when we're revealing some new capacity of who we are, to be witnessed in it solidifies the neural pathways. It's as much, neuroplasticity and creating new neural pathways as it is psychology or embodiment practice. So I would absolutely get with a good men's group that sort of teaches you all these different kind of embodiment practices. EMLT, we're launching EMLT in about a month and a half. Fucking come do that with us. We love that. But find a group where you can actually practice those skill sets And I think there might be one or two practices. I don't know. There's got to be some lover warrior stuff on ERE, right, Jen? And we've got thousands of practices. I'm imagining we've got something there. So masculine practice, which I know we have a lot of in the on the platform. That's a great place to start. Coming to a group, that's a great place to start. Really working, you can do what I like to do, man. I like to actually do it when I'm on a treadmill or when I'm hiking. And the way I'll do it is I'll just start to walk like a warrior. Like, okay, if I was literally walking across a battlefield, how would I be walking? How would I be running? Right. And then I start to feel that part of me. And then I'll actually add some king energy. Okay, how would warrior king be in my body? And I start to actually run as warrior king. And I can tell you, I feel totally different. Start to feel wider. I start to feel stronger. I start to just have more energy because I'm opening up the channels that allow for that part of me to come online. So I'll do it running. I'll do it walking. I'll do it hiking, trail running a lot. I'll do it. You know, whatever works. You know, it's one of those things like, you know, whatever works, do that. But that's what works for me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. And we have this thing going on in Austin in February. And for those of you who are in couples, we're offering an online component for it. So if you do the online component, there'll be separate practice for the men and for the women, but we're only doing it for couples. So it's really hard to try to navigate matching people up online as well as in a room. But the online version of it is really cool. And you get to do it at home and you get to be part of the live workshop and you get to be part of the live practices, but you're still in the comfort of your home. For those of you who are in Europe or wherever and don't want to have to travel to the States, that's a really cool option to get into the work.
Yeah. And just for clarity, in-person singles and couples can enroll.
Yeah. In the room, we can match people up if you're not in a couple, but it's really hard to do it online. So if you're in a couple ship, a situationship, a coupleship, that's a really great thing to come to. All right. Who's next?
Michaela.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I was not expecting to be called. Damn it. Here we
To catch you off guard.
I am I think I'm in between a couple of the things that have been said already today,
Okay.
kind of dancing between when to hunt for that depth in somebody else and when to be just in my self-containment and doing my own practice. I was like, I've been really independent for a long time and then have been in we could call it a situationship for the past months, 3-4 months. And now it's a call for more depth and it's being met with fear. I don't know.
So you're calling for depth and he's meeting you with fear. Okay.
Correct.
All right.
The capability is there. It's been shown.
Okay. So why are you eliciting fear in him? Why is he afraid of you?
I mean, I don't know that this is true, but I think there's a feeling, maybe I'm not asking for it in the right way.
Ding, ding, ding. Possibly. Right? Because a call for depth should inspire. If it's not inspiring, then just like my call for your surrender, let's call it. If I'm demanding it and you're having your body's not responding to it, that's on me. That's on me. Right? Now, in the moment, that's on me. In the long term of the relationship, there might be, he might have certain capacity limitations that you might have to be patient with. But in the moment, what we evoke from other is on us too. It's not totally, but it's 100% kind of responsibility, right? So And the other question is, if you're wanting his depth at an 8, 9, or 10, how open as love's call for that depth are you at an 8, 9, or 10? You can't be at a 4 and then call for him to be at an 8. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, I guess maybe I'm not at 8, 9, or 10. I don't know that I'm at 4, but yeah.
Whatever. I'm just making a point, right? I'm sure I'm sure you have lovely gifts that you're bringing. That's not, I don't mean to imply that, but oftentimes like yearning for depth. So let me paint a scene here. So let's say you're with him. You guys you walk up and you kiss him, you press your belly into his belly, you look in your eyes. How could your body in that moment be a yearning for his depth? What sound might you make? How might you kiss him? And what would your lips be? Would it be soft or hard? Like how is your body, your eyes, like begging for the deepest part of him? That's an 8, 9, or 10.
Okay. Okay. In person, yes.
Okay.
I have to leave the country. So I'm back in Canada right now.
Okay.
And it's where the physical depth is there. The communication, that is not there.
That sounds like a masculine dude. Yeah, why the fuck do I want to spend my time texting you and sending you emojis and, dick pics or pictures of whatever, right? I'd rather just do my thing that's in front of me and then come back to the States and we'll reconnect. I mean, that is the masculine for the most part, right? Now, that doesn't mean that so let's take it to the text realm then. If I was to read your text, would I feel the longing for your depth without it being a complaint, for my depth, without it being a complaint, right? Without it being a subtle sort of manipulation for something that you're not getting, right? How could you become that kind of artist? Could be, now let me give you some examples of things that work for me. Certain kinds of pictures, right? Certain kinds of outfits, like certain, like just your energy, like voice memos. I mean, yeah, you can get very creative in today's media world, right? With ways to express your yearning to feel penetrated by him through the airways or through the ethers. My guess is that will have a pretty nice, as long as it's not meant as long as it's not delivered with subtle complaint. And the way you do that is like I was working with the other guy, is by getting honest on how you are manipulating him.
100%.
Yeah. Again, no judgment. I do it too. Just said, like, we're just speaking truth here because it frees us, right? So, like, and if you're clear on that, like, ooh, like, I'm even manipulating him with this beautiful picture of me and my yearning eyes, but it's for love. And I'm so here's the difference. Here's how we know it's not a manipulation. And this is tough based on what you're saying. We give it without a need for reciprocity. We give it because we love. We give it because we love. Now, if you give him these things consistently over the course, I don't know how long you have to stay in Canada, but over the course of the next 3, 4, whatever it is, you give these things consistently, like with your full open heart and pleasure and yearning and just giving 8, 9, or 10, right? And it's not met. You're not feeling him feel you. Okay, now you know, like, you really brought your deepest unconditional love and art, and he's just not capable of meeting you, then maybe you have a conversation. You let him know, like, hey, I'm not feeling met. For me to be in this situationship any longer with you, I'm going to need to feel like I need to feel your heart. I need to feel your response. I need to feel your desire for me. I need to feel like that picture I sent you, you know what I mean? Like a little heart on it. That ain't cutting it, bro. Right. But you have to really give it, you know, from your deepest heart, first.
So annoying.
It's total. I'm really fucking annoying, man. You should, yeah, these people, yeah, my students know how annoying I am. So yes, it is annoying. And yet, you know, how do we want to live? You know, how do we want to live? You don't lose anything by giving more of yourself. That's a fucking myth.
That is, it definitely feels the opposite. It's like, oh, if I do that, and then I wouldn't call it a fear of rejection, but then maybe it is. Like,
but we don't know because you haven't done it you haven't done it fully. Now, if you do it fully, and you give it your, like, you send him the deepest, most beautiful piece of art you can come up with, right? And you do it fully, and you get no response from him, then the proper response is little tear face emoji. Right? This didn't open you. I mean, then you show him you're just like, oh, I worked so hard. I miss you so much. I wanted you to feel it, and da 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 da. You know, and you let him know. But even getting there requires a certain release of the manipulator in us. I'm going to give you this because you'll give me that. We got to release that, or at least we got to acknowledge it's there. That's probably more honest. Like, releasing it's sometimes tough, but just acknowledging it's there is a beautiful, purifying practice. You got some ideas?
Got ideas.
Okay, good.
I'm annoyed, so it's great.
good. And look, and there's and the things you're feeling, frustration, longing, grief, all those things, like, that is between you and the goddess, and your practice and your truth, your personal truth, and maybe your girlfriends or whoever, holds you. That's your personal truth, and that is definitely needs attention too. You shouldn't ignore that. This is not a spiritual bypass. It's a yes and. I'm gonna bring my longing to the mat and to my sisters, and I'm gonna fucking let it fly, because it's probably deeper than just this guy, right? And I'm gonna bring my art, my deepest art, to him as generously and graciously as I can, and let's fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
It's become my favorite phrase these days. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's all there is.
Kind of true, right? Let's fuck around and find out. Yeah, because we know what our pattern gives us, right? I mean, we know it's so fucking boring. We know what we get when we do the same pattern. So let's fuck around and find out and create some new patterns.
And just like briefly, like the pattern of withholding, of like pulling back, it feels so powerful.
Great. That is how you manipulate him. I feel powerful when I withhold. Oh, I know that one. Fuck, I've been on the receiving end of that one. And I'll tell you what it does to the masculine. It's like, why do I want to give her more? I can feel like, literally, you're just evoking, his lack of inspiration by your withholding. I mean, assuming this guy's not some kind of narcissistic asshole, I'm assuming he's a good dude, right? I'm not speaking, I always have to make those disclaimers, because somebody's going to go, but what if he's a narcissist? Yeah. All right. Good luck, love. Yeah. All right. We got time for one more.
Okay. Come on.
I'm still puzzling how this works on my iPad. Hi, John. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Hey,
Nice to see you too.
My question is this. I'm in a very long relationship and we're very deeply connected. Yet there is this one thing that I keep stumbling upon, and that is that my partner, she is not she's not amazing in asking for her needs.
Oh,
And the other thing is that I notice is that I long for myself to feel more from the deeper parts of her that she tends to like process herself. So for example, like the anger that she has towards me, like the frustration that she feels towards me whenever I'm not in capacity.
yeah.
And I notice that it really makes me feel alive and very connected to her when she's able to share that.
Yeah.
And so I'm really struggling with this, like, hey, how can I actually help her in a way to
Yeah.
feel that space is there.
Why do you need to change her?
Yeah, thanks for bringing it back to me, obviously. We had a conversation yesterday actually where I felt that subtle dynamic playing out.
Yeah.
And then when that was gone, I could just fully see her for wherever she was, and that was very relaxing for me.
Yeah. I think you're answering your own question, brother, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to, there's
No.
nothing wrong with wanting to be a place for her to bring everything. But if she feels you needing to change her, that is not the safe place for her to bring everything, is it? And so, yeah. So, and it's a tough one, man. It's a yes, and, right? It's a yes and yes. I mean, you can say this. I like, show me when you're angry. Just like, give me some heads up, like, and I'll fucking like, you can yell, you can scream, you can pound a pillow. I'll be right here, right now. You can tell her that desire, but to own that desire and then detach from the outcome, is the way. Right? It's not to own the desire and then keep grinding on the desire that she can't meet. Who knows? Maybe it was super hard for her as a child to express her feelings and she was punished. Right?
It's very subtle because I'm not like pulling that out, but I feel like the neediness there is on a very subtle, very invisible level almost, I would say.
Yeah. Well, you're sensitive probably. And you're probably right, man. You're probably right. Withholding it for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a combination. So if you don't need to change her, if you can really be with, wow, fuck, I am trying to change you. I need you to be different so I feel safe or I feel powerful. I'll feel safe if you share all your emotions with me. I'll feel safer. So why don't you doing that, you little bitch? Right? Like why, you know, it's that the need to feel safe drives so much of our behavior, you know, and once we can get clear about it, it's kind of the tentacles sort of unwrap.
I just feel it now.
Then you can love her, and loving her could be show me, right? In a moment, like you can tell she's bad, you're like, show me, like play with her a little bit. That could be but if it's coming from the place, if I need her to, so I feel safe, and it's this little shadow program, then you won't choose the right approach.
No, it's true. I just feel like when you shared this actually, and just in the previous question, this came up as well. And I just feel actually like a lot of grief wanting to release from my body in this. And a lot of love just wanting to erupt from my heart.
Yeah. Beautiful. Bring that to her, brother. You know what I mean? Like bring that to her. And allowing her to be, you know, again, we don't know what, I'm sure you know her history. My guess is that she had trouble expressing emotions, or she was punished for emotions or shamed for emotions. You know, so of course it's going to be, she's going to feel unsafe in sharing those things. So your work is to, like you just did, you fully owned it super fast. Well done, brother. You owned it really fast. And now you're going to be like, okay, now that I know what a manipulator I am, and I know how I'm trying to get power by making sure she does this certain thing, and so I'll feel safe. Now that I know all that, and I can kind of laugh at myself, how do I want to love her?
This is really relaxing for my system. You sharing this with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truth
Yeah.
is freedom.
That's the thing. So it's the longing for truth, but I can't like pull it out of her because I need it.
Yeah.
So like I could, that was actually like the core of the question. How do I create spaciousness like in myself in the end, right? For that to be able to flow between the two of us, because that's what I long for.
Yeah, well done, man. Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
You create the spaciousness in yourself
Yeah.
by unhooking
Yeah.
the shadow need.
Yeah, totally.
I need you to be different. Look, I do it too. Look, we all do this. We all do this. It's just part of how we try to feel. We're navigating the world to feel safe. We're navigating the world to feel loved. There's nothing wrong with it as long as we can bring awareness to it.
Yeah.
And we're not just dumping our agendas onto people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so clear, and it's just you like saying this little thing to me. It's like, oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Thanks,
best
man.
of luck to you. Best of luck to you. Yeah.
See you.
Okay, everybody. I think we're gonna call it there. I want to make a pitch for those of you to come to ASI, right? So there's a couple things going on. We have the Body of Love, which is a practice circle, a lot more practice than this. Jen, Brett, and I are doing that. That's next week, and that's really cool for women only. We have EMLT, which has less than 10 spots left. So if you are a man and you're interested in diving into the men's work, EMLT is the place. It's the best fucking men's program on the planet. I totally believe that. And we've got about 10 spots left. And then the Art of Sacred Intimacy is in Austin. We've got a few spots left for that. That sold out pretty fully last year, and it's also available online. So those are all ways to get more into the work if you're feeling inspired. If not, we'll have another one of these, and in a couple 3 months, and I look forward to seeing you guys and hearing your questions. I hope this landed. Again, we're going to replay this and put it on our YouTube channel. I think there was a lot of really beautiful. I really want to honor all the people I worked with and how open to truth they were, right? Just how open to being self-reflective and honest, and then sharing that with the group. Thank you all for trusting me in my weird little teaching today. Okay.
Thank you, John. And thank you, everybody. And one thing I will mention for those of you that want to join the Body of Love Feminine Embodiment Practice Circle on December 4th, today is the final day for the early bird pricing. And if you have any questions, you can email support@johnwineland.com, and we will be happy to support you. All right. Thank you, everybody.